I did not plan on filing for this. I've constantly, this was our last resort. Had the province come to the table and meaningful consultation, meeting with us on cumulative impacts, we won't be here today. Our territory that is being ravaged as we speak here today, it's happening right before our eyes. I'm here to protect what little land we have left. It's very important that my people exist and practice their rights on what's left out there.
The BC Oil and Gas Commission provides data on all of their applications for wells, facilities, pipelines, road developments, and so on and so forth. And we've taken this data and looked at it over time. So from 1950 to present day on a year-by-year basis, looking at the developments. And over time, you can see within the Blueberry's territory, the total number of oil and gas well applications has resulted in 14,564 permanent wells in their territory. It also equates to approximately 11 million cubic meters of water extracted to help process that oil and that gas. Aside from the oil and the water extractions, in order to connect the wells to the facilities, there's a total of 9,588 kilometers of pipeline in Blueberry River First Nations territory alone. That's the equivalent of driving from Vancouver to St. John's and back. That's how many, how far the pipelines can stretch out. The total number of roads and other applications, facilities alone, in order to connect the wells through the pipelines to the facilities, there's 9,565 facilities alone in Blueberry's territory. And what this means when we look at this, in Blueberry's territory alone, 90.8% of the Beaton and Upper Halfway rivers has been disturbed by industrial developments. And what we're looking at on this map is purely just oil and gas developments. It does not include any other activities such as forestry or agriculture, mining, or any other non-oil and gas related activities.
You look at that board, as fast as the referrals that are coming to our office, they return with approval stamps from the province without acknowledging or consulting with us or having our input. Our way of life is being destroyed out there. We were promised that our treaty rights be protected from the time we signed our treaty back in 1900. To this point, it hasn't been.
Canada came across the country wanting to open up the country to settlement for non-Aboriginal people, and they recognized they had to make some sort of agreement. So in seeking the First Nations consent, the Crown promised the ancestors of Blueberry River First Nations that they and their descendants were ensured their rights to carry out their modes of life and means of earning economic livelihood, including by hunting, trapping, and fishing. And I'll just read a very brief excerpt from the report of the commissioners that negotiated the treaty with the First Nations. And this was a report back to the government. They say, we had to solemnly ensure them, that's the Aboriginal people, that only such laws to hunting and fishing as were in the interest of the Indians in order to protect the fish and fur-bearing animals would be made, and they would be as free to hunt and fish after the treaty as they would be if they never entered into it. And then continuing, we assured them that the treaty would not lead to any forced interference with their mode of life. So it's not just what the treaty says, but how they were induced to enter into the treaty. And so their response now is, we have been unsuccessful in talking to government. They are suing the government, and they are suing to get a remedy from the courts that they have not been able to get through negotiation. Now, specifically, you mentioned Site C and the LNG projects. No decisions, specific decisions will be made on the next steps in the lawsuit. Applying for injunctions is certainly a possibility, and that's something that will just have to be determined. There is no question that this is not going to be business as usual.